Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into a narrative that beautifully explores storytelling, memory, and, well, identity. Our sources for this one are pretty unique, actually. We've got the guide for Emily Henry's new novel, Great Big Beautiful Life, but it's framed specifically as an immersive audio journey,
Mm-hmm.
plus some related stuff on, how we engage with audio content these days.
Yeah, that framing is key, isn't it? The focus on how the story is consumed.
Exactly. So our mission really is to unpack how this story weaves together things like ambition and intimacy, how memory can be sort of fluid, and how our identities get shaped, all through this lens of an audio experience.
And what's really interesting, I think, is how the source material itself talks about emotional resonance, that natural narrative flow. It's trying to guide you through the story's core.
Like preserving the heart of the novel.
Precisely. Like
Yeah.
a really skilled narrator would.
Okay, so let's introduce the main players. We've got Alice Scott. She's this earnest, optimistic journalist, really hoping for her big break.
Right.
And then there's Hayden Anderson. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning biographer, much more stoic, kind of reserved, hides a lot beneath the surface.
Big contrast there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And they're both drawn to this remote island by Margaret Ives, an enigmatic, reclusive heiress. And she offers one of them the chance to write her biography.
Ooh, okay. Sets up some immediate tension.
Doesn't it just?
Absolutely. And what the audio guide points out, and what's compelling right away, is how this setup allows for multiple layers. You've got past and present narratives starting to merge.
Which always raises questions.
Exactly. Like, what secrets are really going to come out? What family stuff gets exposed? And, how powerful is storytelling itself in changing things?
Right.
And Emily Henry explores all that through these characters trying to gain Margaret's trust. But Margaret, her memories seem to shift depending on who she's talking to.
Tricky. So what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, you're basically getting a shortcut to understanding a story that's, frankly, way more than just a biography. It digs into the choices we make when we remember, the sort of stories we tell ourselves to get by, maybe, and the courage it takes to let someone really see you.
Yeah, that vulnerability piece.
Okay, let's dive in. This is where it gets really interesting. So our journey into Margaret's story really kicks off on Little Crescent Island. The setting itself feels like its own character almost.
Very atmospheric, I imagine.
Totally. And this is where Alice Scott arrives. She's this journalist we mentioned, gunning for her big break, feeling both, excited and maybe a bit nervous.
Understandably.
She's there for a 1-month writing trial, basically,
Oh.
hoping to land this biography gig that could completely change her journalistic identity.
Yeah, and that ambition is interesting, isn't it? Especially given her background, which was more like celebrity gossip.
Right.
So it's not just about career advancement. It feels like she's striving for legitimacy. Her wanting Margaret's story seems deeply tied to her own sense of self, wanting to be seen as a serious writer.
Yeah, like ambition is self-discovery.
Exactly. And the audio experience apparently really brings that out. You hear the shifts in her thinking as she contrasts this with her old work.
And right alongside her, also competing for the job, is Hayden Anderson, the serious one. Reserved Pulitzer winner, known for being meticulous.
The polar opposite.
Pretty much. He has this professional distance, but you can feel that competitive edge simmering underneath. Their first interactions are polite, but definitely charged.
Oh, I bet.
What did you make of that initial contrast between them? Purely professional rivalry, you think? Or something else, maybe?
Well, it starts polite, like you said, but yeah, that undercurrent is there. It's almost like they're, I don't know, subtly testing each other out.
Mm-hmm.
It hints at deeper things, for sure. It really shows Henry's skill in setting up those character dynamics right away. You feel the tension, but also the potential for, well, something else.
Okay, and then there's Margaret Ives herself. Quite the figure. She was apparently a tabloid darling, a Hollywood-style heiress back in the day.
Wow, okay.
But she's been reclusive for decades. Now she's in her 80s. And she invites both Alice and Hayden to spend time with her separately, to see who gets the gig.
Separately interesting.
Yeah, and the catch. Everything's under strict confidentiality agreements, lots of intrigue, and we learn her memories, her stories. They often change depending on who she's talking to or who's listening.
Which immediately makes you think about memory itself, how malleable it can be.
Totally. So as the days go by on this island, Alice starts feeling this emotional pull, not just to the story, but to Margaret herself.
Getting drawn in.
Yeah. Margaret's described as elegant, but still enigmatic. She shares these anecdotes, poetic, profound, full of past drama, glamorous parties, scandalous affairs, you name it.
Sounds juicy.
But for every detail she gives, something else stays hidden. It really shows how trying to tell someone else's life story ends up being this unexpected journey for the biographer, too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like you end up discovering things about yourself by looking through someone else's life.
Yeah. And Alice's own stuff starts bleeding into it. Her estranged father, her career worries, that feeling of wanting to be seen as a real writer. It connects with Margaret's tales.
It resonates.
It's like listening to Margaret makes Alice face parts of herself she'd maybe ignored. You know how sometimes hearing someone else's story just clicks something in your own head?
Oh, definitely. The universal connection. Emily Henry really nails that. Meanwhile, you've got Hayden kind of observing from the sidelines.
The quiet one.
Right? Less forthcoming. His sessions with Margaret sound more like intense chess matches. He asks fewer questions but gets more silence.
Does that work?
Well, Margaret seems to respect it, but also maybe resist it a bit. You could argue his approach, while maybe getting at certain facts, might miss some of that spontaneous, emotional truth Alice gets.
Makes sense. His emotional armor, built up from loss and critical success, seems like it's maybe starting to crack a little, though.
Seems like it. But despite that initial awkwardness, Alice and Hayden do slowly find a kind of rhythm. They're just such different writers.
Yeah.
Alice with the warmth, the intuition.
The imagination.
Right. And Hayden brings the structure, the analysis, the discipline. Their talks shift away from pure rivalry, more towards reflection.
So they actually start talking.
Yeah, sharing late-night teas, apparently. Moments of tension, but also surprising bits of humor.
It's actually quite satisfying to see these two very different ways of storytelling start to mesh, almost.
Yeah, that sounds really well done.
It is. And that coming together is part of the novel's, genius, I think. Henry uses these dual perspectives, these contrasting voices, to show how different ways of telling a story can actually bring out its humanity even more.
Interesting.
And then one night, there's this turning point where they actually read each other's writing.
Ooh, vulnerable moment.
Big time. And what started as competition begins to feel more like kinship. Or maybe something else brewing. It just shows how being vulnerable can create these unexpected connections.
So as things progress, Margaret's stories become less polished. More raw. Exactly. She starts opening up about her sister Charlotte. Someone kept out of the public eye for a long, long time.
A hidden figure.
And their bond was intense, but also tragic. There was a betrayal when they were young, a terrible accident, years of silence. This becomes the kind of emotional core of Margaret's hidden life. It adds a whole new layer to why she's so reclusive.
Wow. That must hit Alice hard.
Oh, yeah. The sources say Alice is visibly shaken. It's not just a scandal. It's this deep look into Margaret's pain, and it mirrors some of Alice's own family issues, her own wounds.
The story becomes a mirror for her.
Definitely. And Margaret seems to see what's happening within Hayden, too, gently kind of nudging him towards being more open.
So midway through their stay, things shift again.
Yeah, Margaret falls ill. Nothing super dramatic, apparently, but enough to make her seem fragile, less commanding.
Right, reminds everyone of her age, the urgency.
Exactly. The reality of her age, the need to get the story down, the decision about who gets to write it, it all starts pressing in on Alice and Hayden. The island, which seemed like paradise, now feels heavy.
Pressure's on.
And then Margaret does something totally unexpected. She asks them both to collaborate.
Oh,
Yeah. She tells them basically, the story's too big for one voice. Let it be a chorus.
That's a big twist. It challenges that whole idea of the single authoritative biographer.
Completely. Alice and Hayden are unsure, obviously, but they're intrigued. They accept.
So how does that work?
Well, they spend long days sharing notes, trading pages, arguing over tone and truth, probably. What comes out isn't just a manuscript. It's this joint understanding of Margaret's life. A narrative woven from her voice, yes, but also reflecting their voices, too.
So it's like a mosaic. They include letters, interviews, photos, even bits from Margaret's own journals.
Fragmented, but really intimate. And through doing this, their own bond deepens. It moves past that reluctant truce into something tender, though maybe still unspoken.
That collaborative process, it really mirrors how history actually gets put together, doesn't it? From multiple viewpoints, none being the absolute final word.
That's a great point. Exactly. But just when they think they're nearing the end,
Oh no, there's more.
a stranger arrives on the island. It's Charlotte's daughter, Claire.
The sister's daughter. Okay.
And Claire has apparently believed for years that her mother's memory was deliberately tarnished and buried by Margaret. She challenges Margaret's version of events.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she threatens to block the book's publication unless her mother's story is told fairly.
Wow. Okay, that throws a wrench in things.
Big time. It forces everyone to rethink their narratives. Margaret, though shaken, is resolute. She offers an even fuller version now, one that includes her own mistakes and regrets.
So not seeking redemption necessarily, but truth.
Seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
More like completeness.
Hmm.
Alice and Hayden carefully incorporate this new material, and Claire, surprisingly, agrees to participate. It starts a kind of healing process for her, too.
And Margaret?
She seems to relax, almost. Maybe relieved to finally be seen fully, warts and all. Less polished, more whole.
So the final manuscript gets finished.
Yeah, and there's this quiet satisfaction among them. Margaret's story isn't some perfect portrait anymore. It's complex, it's alive.
And Alice and Hayden leave the island changed.
Definitely. For Alice, it's about stepping into her own power as a writer. Not chasing relevance, but actually shaping it.
And for Hayden?
It sounds like he learns to let emotion into his work, and maybe into his life, too. Breaking down some of that armor.
And Margaret?
She releases her story, trusts it to speak for itself out in the world.
Wow. What a journey. We've gone through, sunlit gardens and coastal isolation, tangled family stuff, and these huge personal breakthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive into Great Big Beautiful Life really shows it's so much more than just a biography. It's a powerful look at storytelling itself.
Especially potent in that audio format where you'd hear every nuance.
Exactly.
And if you connect it to the bigger picture, the novel really asks, what does legacy actually mean? Can anyone ever truly capture the whole truth of someone else's life, or even their own?
Yeah, it's about how memory gets shaped, how secrets fester.
And how vulnerability, even for someone guarded like Hayden or reclusive like Margaret, can actually lead to healing, to seeing the whole picture.
We really saw Alice find her voice, Hayden open up, and Margaret bravely let go of her narrative.
It's a real testament to that idea. Margaret voiced, "Some stories are too big for one person. They need that chorus."
A concept that the audio presentation itself seems designed to highlight.
For sure. This story, it sounds like it delivers the heart, the humor, the humanity, all with sharp writing.
Yeah.
It shows that even when you have conflicting accounts, like Margaret's initial ones or Claire's challenge, pursuing that fuller truth can mend things, help you see people whole.
And maybe listening to this has given you some insight, some warmth, maybe even a little inspiration to look at the beauty in your own life story. The depth of a story like this, it really comes alive when you can immerse yourself in it, right? Whether you're commuting, chilling out, whatever. There are so many ways now to engage with narratives like this. Audiobooks, podcasts.
Yeah, and the way this particular book is framed is that immersive audio journey. Is a great reminder of how the medium itself can deepen the experience.
Absolutely.
So as you think about Great Big Beautiful Life, here's maybe a provocative thought to leave you with. If every life is really just a collection of stories, and those stories change and evolve depending on who's telling them and when, what part of your own story have you maybe left unexamined, so waiting for a co-author? Or maybe just
For a new listener.